Alright, good morning. Well, I just got back from my trip, 100-mile wilderness, and I summited Katahdin. And I want to show you what worked, what didn't work while I'm unpacking my pack. And hopefully this will give you some ideas to fine-tune your gear. This is not my first rodeo. I've been doing this for years, and I'm constantly fine-tuning my gear. And let me show you what I did on this trip and what I'm going to do next on the next trip. All right, first of all, my trekking poles. These are the Leaky trekking poles. They're carbon fiber. These are the Micron, and I love them. Really like them. This is my. I carry my water bottles on my trekking pole, as most of you know. That saves 4 pounds on my pack. I also have a roll of Luca tape on this one, and I have a roll, well, not a whole roll, but probably 8 feet each. And this is the Gorilla duct tape for doing repairs out in the field. You can also use it to do blisters, but I like the Luca tape better. The Lucas tape, once you put it on, it's there for a week or two. It has to wear off. It's really hard to get off you. It really works out good. For clothes, I really like my Cool. I get them in REI. I like my Cool convertible pants. In the mornings, you put the legs on. If you're at camp in the evening and it's buggy and mosquitoes, you put the legs, you zip the legs back on. While I'm hiking, I unzip the legs and take the legs off. Really like it. The best belt that I found so far was same thing. It was Bison. I like these strapped belts. They hold. You can really fine tune it as you're losing weight on the trail instead of having to deal with the holes and then find out you have no more holes because you've lost too much weight. I like the Velcro, not the Velcro, but I like the straps, the locking straps for your belt. These are great pants. I'll always use the Cool. They're a little pricey, but you get what you pay for. So I really like those. Just one pair of pants. For my undies, I wear Under Armour. I usually bring 2 pairs of these. In the future, I'm not taking my second pair of hiking clothes. The reason is I had rain, and the second day I put on my dry clothes, and it never really I wasn't able to dry off my first set of clothes. It just never happened. So I always carried one set of wet clothes in my pack. Occasionally, if I got into camp early, I could lay the stuff out and I'd have dry clothes. But basically, every morning you just put on damp clothes. So I'm not carrying another set of clothes. It's a pound that I don't need. So I'll wash these out at night. Wash my t-shirt out at night and just hang it, and if it's cool in the morning when I go to put it on, it's cool in the morning. That's all I'll just have to deal with it. So yeah, the Under Armour, I really like it. I've never had chafe with these. These are great. I really like them. And I don't sleep in these. I have sleeping clothes. So these are strictly, again, part of my hiking wearables. Now, this trip here, I ended up going with Smart Wool. This is from LL Bean. These are the Smart Wool. Actually, the blend on this is, what is it? 30% here, polyester. It doesn't say. try to fit it right. It's a 32% smart wool. It doesn't stink as bad as your synthetic hiking shirts. I really, really like this. I'm going to stick with the smart wool. It works good. It dries. Again, it doesn't stink. So that's my hiking shirt. And then for my socks, I will always carry 2 pairs of socks. I have my liners from Fox. Again, REI. Fox River liners. These seem to last the longest. I tried the REI brand. That was my second pair. They were silk. They wore, I didn't care for them at all. I'm going to stick with my Fox River. I really like my Fox River. And then the old Darn Tough from Vermont. These are not the boot. This is the medium length. You know, not the ankle length and not the boot length. This is just the medium. I'm not sure exactly the name, but you don't need them to go all the way up your calves. I'll always take 2 pairs of these also. These were great. These socks here have 300 miles on them, and there's just no wear at all on them. These are going to last a while. And again, if you do get a hole in them, lifetime warranty. You just go to REI, go to any supplier that sells these, bring your old pair, and they'll swap them out for new ones. These are my Dirty Girl Gaiters. These things, I've had these for 3 years. They still work good. They keep the dirt and grime from getting in your boot, which in turn will work its way through the sock down to your skin, and it'll act as sandpaper. And I usually rinse these out every night too, and you should see even with the gaiters, you do get a little fine dust that will work its way into your boot. So I highly recommend gaiters. It doesn't have to be the Dirty Girls. You can get any kind, but I like those. My headband, I use this a lot because I perspire a lot. I have a dozen different styles. This one I happen to find online. It's the AT headband. It wicks away the moisture so it doesn't drip down into your face. And sometimes when I was in a lake, you would use this here to wash up in the lake. So it actually would clean this while you were cleaning yourself. So that worked out very well too. All right, let me get into some of the other gear that I have. My boots failed me. These were brand new. I got these Merrell Moab -2s. These are the latest ones out. The tread is fine. I didn't wear the tread. These lasted 170 on the long trail and 120 on the wilderness trail. So 170, that's 90, that's it's a little of just about 300. Oh, and then 70 miles of the foothills trail. So that would be what did I say? Almost 400 miles on these. Excuse me, 300 miles, 370 miles, something like that on these. And they're already falling apart. Look at that. It's already worn, and these are big compromise. Every time I went through a puddle, water would just rush right in. So these are going back today. While I was in Maine, I took a ride by LL Bean, and I'm going back to my Keen. I've had Keen boots for years and years, and I wanted to switch out because they're a little bit heavy. I was trying to save some weight on my feet, but you know, now that I'm weighing both of these are just as heavy, just as light rather. So I'm going back to my Keens. These are the Dorados. I've had these for years. I don't know why I switched. I'm an idiot. You should always, if something works, stay with it. You know. And so I'm going back to the Dorados. Waterproof. It's all one leather. It's not this combination of I don't know what they did here. Rubber, leather, and just a lot of stitching to go wrong on these. Very little stitching on here. This is like all one piece. So I highly recommend going, if you're looking for boots, look at the Keens. And the Keens have they come standard with the double D wide, and you gotta have a wide toe. These I had to buy in double D. You don't want regular, because carrying 30 to 40 pounds on your pack, your feet are going to spread. They're just going to, like a pancake, they're just going to spread. If you don't have room you're gonna have blisters big time. You're gonna have sore feet. So always get a boot where there's a lot of room in the toe area. And Keens do that. They're and look at the tread on here. These I had no problem gripping the granite. Going up granite, even at a like 55-degree angle, I went right up the granite. So these did have some holding power, but so did these in past years when I had this boot too. So I'm going back to the Keens. These Moabs are garbage. They're going back to REI today. As soon as I finish this video, we're taking a ride, the dog and I. So that takes care of that. I just kind of took this out of my my pack. And with my titanium pot, I like to have coffee or hot chocolate while my food is rehydrating. And this worked out very, very well. I would put my food in here, throw my boiling water in here, and then I made myself a little koozie for it. You can put a lid on it if you want to have leftovers. This is watertight, you can lock it. But while this is rehydrating in its own little foil, this ends up being like a little oven. And you just put this aside for 20 minutes while you're setting up your tent or socializing or just sitting by the lake or at an overview and just sipping your coffee in the mug that you use to boil water. A lot of people just use the mug to cook in, to drink in. It takes up a lot of extra time because you can only use the mug for one purpose at one time. So I like this. This here worked out very well. This is Tupperware. I believe this is Tupperware. No, Glad. This is Glad. It's got the screw on top. So if you have, like I said, I do a lot of the meals where you can prepare them and then you can put them in wraps. So if you do a batch, again, you can save this and the food will stay. This food will last for a day. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, I wouldn't go more than a day, but, and what I ended up doing too is with the food, Mountain House or whatever, pantry meals, I wouldn't make the whole batch. I would just pour half of the dry contents and then roll up the bag that it originally came in and just tuck that away and only cook up what I want. That seems to work out pretty well too. And this is easy cleaning. It's super, super light, probably weighs 1 ounce. So I highly recommend this too. And this all nests together. And then I put my titanium pot right in there. And then I just pack it away in my pack. And I have a little mesh bag that I kept that holds this all together. This was my trash for 5 days. These are all the wrappers from the trash, the Mountain House meals, my Epic bars, Musketeers, dinners, my wraps. These are the empty containers. And this, I gotta say, it's gotta be about 5 ounces here, maybe even 6 ounces. So, I mean, you gotta pack out what you pack in. And this is what, the last 5 days on the trail. Actually, no, because I was on the trail 1, 2, 3, 4 days. This is 4 days of trash for my resupply. When he came out, we gave him our garbage for the first 4 days, 4 days, I guess. And this is, let me see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, this is 3.5 days of just wrappers for garbage. That's going in the trash. Okay, I'm going to do a pack explosion here. Let me get this up here. Oh, man. Alright, as you can see, I had already gone through it a little bit here. This pack, I just weighed it before I started working on it. I have some food left in here, but right now I came off the trail with everything here, including my bag of trash. 36 pounds. That's a little heavy. So I'm going to be doing some trim. Well, actually, I probably have 8 pounds of food left because I wasn't anticipating doing the miles I was doing. So let me reset the camera, and because it's on a timer, every 10 minutes it goes off automatically, so I got to reset it. And then we'll get into my pack here, show you what I had, what I brought, and what I liked. Okay. Okay, first thing is my chair. My Healy Knox Zero chair. I use this just about every morning when I had breakfast, and I used it every evening when I had dinner, and when I was during the day, if I was on a summit, I would set up the chair, sit on the granite, have my lunch, have a morning snack. It weighs 1 pound. As long as I'm tenting, I will always take this. If I'm hammocking, I don't need the chair because I use my hammock as a chair. So and I'll show you the tent that I used. So tenting, the chair is always coming with me. This was super. Really, really like this chair. The Crocs I used in camp, and we had to ford some rivers. I actually had to ford, 2 wet rivers, and I had numerous others that I was able to rock hop. These are a little heavy because these are real Crocs and they have the heel. This didn't work that well because I was swimming in a lake and walking out to the deeper portion, I stepped in some muck, and this actually came right off my foot, and it took me a while to find it. These will not float. If these are in muck, they're not going to float because the muck suction held it, and it took me a while. I finally found it, and then it did float. But these are heavy. I'm going to go back to the other Crocs that are they're like moccasins. You just slide your foot in. They came in at 9 ounces. These are coming in at 14 ounces. So I'm going to leave these home now, and I'm just going to use the smaller, cheaper Crocs that I got at Walmart. I'm going to save I don't know, almost 6 ounces. And this might not seem like a lot, but 4 ounces here, 6 here, 4 there, you end up saving a pound real easy. So these work. They were very comfortable, but I'm going to go with a different version. I already have them. I just thought I was going to need these to cross the rivers. You don't. As long as you have Crocs, you can. They're not going to come off your feet. Because you're always facing upstream anyway, and the water's this way, so the water's always pushing the boot into your foot. If you were going this way, then the water would be wanting to take the Croc off your foot. So you don't need the heavy Crocs. You can get away with the lighter Crocs. My last trip I had sandals. Forget it. They don't work. You don't want sandals. Okay, I have my bottles here. This worked out very well. I always kept this one full as my backup. This one goes on my shoulder strap. This was my backup reserve, so when I ran out of water on my poles, I would take this, fill my poles, and then I would start looking for a river to refill. Occasionally we were on some ridges that went for miles and miles, and we had a lot of big climbs. I also carry another 1 liter bottle for those occasions where you need to carry extra water. And at camp, it's easy just to go down once, get all your water, fill all your containers, come back, and then I never had to go back down to the river again, not even in the morning. I had enough water in the morning to cook, clean, and sometimes I just had to dump out the rest of it if I didn't need it, if I knew that we were going to have a water source within a few miles. So I always carry a 4th container, just for those occasions where you need the extra water. And a liter of water runs about 2.4 pounds per liter, so keep that in mind. If you carry water on your pack, you're adding 2 to 4 pounds. Okay. Now I also I like my alcohol, so I had an alcohol. My resupply, he brought me out. I ordered extra alcohol. This is heat. I like heat. He couldn't get heat. He gave me rubbing alcohol, 90%. This is garbage. I hate this. I'll never use. I had no choice, but this you got to use almost 2 ounces to boil a cup of water, or 2 cups of water. I do not like alcohol. I'd rather go with the heat. The heat, I can boil the same amount of water with a 1/2 ounce to 3/4 of an ounce of heat versus almost 1.5 to 2 ounces of alcohol. Alcohol is no good. Go with heat. It's the yellow bottle. Get it at Walmart, $1.50 a bottle. How can you go wrong? Heat is the best. So, and I have a container, but I only wanted to carry enough for 1 week, and then I was down to like a couple of ounces. So I had him come out, and again, he didn't have heat, so he brought me alcohol, and I wasn't happy with the alcohol. So the alcohol, I'll never, that's just a thing. Don't waste your time with alcohol. What else we have in our pockets here? Also on this side, I keep my water filtration outside because I'm always grabbing it. And this is all I have. I have a. This is the bottom half of a Gatorade bottle. It doesn't even register on the weight. It's probably a 1/2 ounce, and I use this to scoop up water in order to fill my ever new bag. It's a lot easier than trying to fill it in the stream, and then you just screw this on, and then you squeeze the bottle, and you know how it all works. You filter your water. But this is my water filtration system. It all fits right in here, nice and neat. It fits right in my pocket. Now in that same pocket, I always have my electrolytes. I have my Noons, and then I have my Propel. I have Walmart brand of fruit drink with electrolytes in it. I also have Ocean Spray cranberry mix in here to change up the taste a little bit. So that all goes in one pocket because I'm in and out of this thing all the time. I do not want to have to go in my pack. So always keep this in one pocket on one side, and it'll make getting water a lot easier. And on the opposite side, like I said, I keep my spare water bottle, and then I also keep my alcohol on that side. And I also keep my spade for when I have to dig a cat hole. And I always put it in a Ziploc because you don't know if somebody else dug a hole right where you dug a hole, and I just don't want to contaminate everything on my pack. So I just feel better putting it after I use it and I clean it on the grass or the leaves. I put it in a little Ziploc just again so it doesn't, if there are germs or anything, it won't get on everything else. So that's something I do on this side. Now in the back, this hat I'm not taking again, especially in New England. It was a waste, never even used it. I thought I was going to use it. When I got to the summits, it was so windy I couldn't use it anyway. It was a great rain hat, but I used it on the Foothills Trail, and it worked great, but it did not work for me on the Appalachian Trail. So I'll probably leave this hat home. In fact, I don't think I even wore it once. So this is going to stay home on the next trail. The hat that I used a lot was my cap. This is it's made by Cool again. It's water resistant, it shedded water, and when I had it on my head, I had my rain hood over that, and the visor just kept the water from getting on my glasses. So this will always come with me. I like this. And if you have to worry about, if you need to worry about, I'll find it here somewhere. I have a bandana that you can put over your head like this. It covers your neck. You put your hat on so the sun stays off your ears and the sun stays off your back, or the mosquitoes if you're in mosquito territory. This works good. You can spray the hat in this with bug spray instead of having to spray your face or your neck. And so this will always go with me. This was a great, I like that hat. This is my pee bottle. I do not leave the tent at night. Once I get in the tent or in my hammock, that's it. I'm in there till morning, and I use this all the time. And I love it when it's raining and I don't have to crawl out, or it's at night and there's a lot of coyotes and all kinds of critters walking around. Snakes, they migrate at night. You don't want to be stepping on a snake at night. So I use a pee bottle. I don't care. A lot of people are going to this. Real super easy. You just wash it out in the morning and that's it, ready to go the next day. I've been using this now for years and years and years. I highly recommend it. No more going out in the cold morning. I don't even have to get out of my sleeping bag. So, all right, what do we have? Got spare Ziploc. Oh, more garbage bags. I just stuck it in there. And in the back here we have our toiletries. I was panicking the first week. I was running out of TP, so I put a whole roll of TP in my resupply box. This is what's left of it, and this was my backup. And basically, what's in here is TP, baby wipes, a Ziploc of baby powder, and hand sanitizer is in here. And it's a watertight bag, and normally I put it in there. When I go on extended trips, I like to have a roll and a half. So I always have a half a roll by the time I get to my resupply, and then I pick up a whole roll. So I do not want to run out of TP. So this is my TP packages right here. And then in the back here, my Froggy jacket, Frog Tog rain jacket. This works good around camp. I'm changing up my rain gear again. I got caught in a rainstorm. I didn't see it coming. It was a fast moving front. It was moving like about 50 miles an hour. I was climbing a mountain, and the front was coming from behind me, and it had a sharp line to it. All of a sudden, it got dark, and I heard thunder, and I turned around, and there was a storm. I didn't even have time to put my poncho on. The wind line came in. I couldn't get the poncho on. I took this off, put it on the ground, and I have a ground cloth. I put the ground cloth over it, and basically I got soaked. So this works around camp. It's super light. I think it's 4 ounces. There's no real thermal protection to this other than it's a windbreaker and it's supposed to be a rain jacket. It kind of worked okay for both of those. And this is my poncho. I think I'm going to use the poncho. Worked good on the earlier in the spring when we had just a light rain during the day. You're in the forest, there's no wind. When that storm came through, I tried putting this on. It was blowing like a flag. I couldn't get this thing on. I ended up getting soaked. So on my weekend hikes, I will take the poncho. But on my through hikes, I'm not taking a poncho anymore. And I'm not taking this here anymore either. I'm just going to go with my LL Bean regular, my real foul weather jacket. It's got the zip pits in it. It's heavy duty. It will give me an R rating. It will give me a little bit of warmth in the morning around camp. So the poncho are only going to be for my weekend treks. I'm going to go back to my LL Bean. This is my Z-Pack pack cover. This worked really nice. These people really know how to make gear. This is the large, and this was enough to fit, cover my pads, and then my chair was up on top here. This covered good. It's got a drawstring on it. It also has a little clasp that you can hook to anything on here. So if the wind does get on here and tries to rip this off, it can't go anywhere because it's secured to your pack. Also, what I do is I have, where'd they go? I have bungees. Here they are. I have bungees that I've made. I have 2 bungees. They go right around my pack, and these hold on whatever I have in here. These are my second attachment points. So if the first point fails, I won't lose my gear behind me. And what I did after I put the pack on here, I put one of these bungees on the outside of my pack cover, and that also added security so the wind couldn't rip my rain cover off. So highly recommend this. Probably weighs an ounce. It's like a feather. And it worked. It kept my pack dry. After it rained, I put this on, so because all the trees, you're getting the rain off the trees, the drops, and everything stayed dry. The pack stayed dry. So this worked out very well. Keep that. This is my from Dutch Wear. This is my rain kilt. I will always take this in lieu of pants. These work really well. I use it around camp. And when I get to camp, I take it out, I spread it out on the ground, then I do my pack explosion, throw everything on this. it keeps the dirt and stuff from sticking to whatever I'm taking out of my pack. So yes, this will always come with me. The rain kilt from Dutchwear. You can get these kilts in many places. It's just a waterproof material. It goes down your ankles. It has a drawer strap on your hip, and it's a kilt. And you don't have to wear pants. You stay a lot cooler, and you do stay dry with this too. I don't get wet when I'm wearing that. So that worked out pretty well. This, because I had the chair, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, and I was thinking maybe I would use this when I was taking a break on a trail. The only thing I used this for was in front of my tent to get in and out of my tent. I just cut down a Z-rest pad. I got mixed reviews on this. I really didn't use it as much as I thought. It comes in at 4 ounces. I'm probably going to leave this home next time. I'm not going to take this unless I don't bring the chair. So it'll either be this or the chair, and I only take the chair if I have the tent. If I have a hammock, I will take this because this will give me something to sit on a log or a rock around camp. And because my hammock will be set up, I usually eat in my hammock. I don't have to be in my chair, and I always set up my hammock so I have the best view. So I really don't need a chair when I'm in my hammock, but I will take this when I hammock, okay? This it's super light, and it is very comfortable, and it dries really quick. So what else do we have in here? Oh, I just have a little bag in case I had a shirt. I have a long sleeve shirt that I wear in the mornings. If it was going to be cool, if it was going to be a little wet, I would put that shirt in this bag and then just stick the bag in the back here so my shirt won't get wet. So this is just weighs, I don't know, not even an ounce. It's just a little bag for that. All right, let's go into my pack. This is the Z-Pack Duplex. Really like this. I got wet the first night in Katahdin. We had a torrential rain. It was user error. I had the tent up too high, and the water ran off the tent and splashed and came up through the vents. I got a light mist of wet splashback off all my gear on all 4 sides. I then reduced my trekking poles to lower the tent down 4 inches, and I didn't have any problems after that. Although you do reduce your airflow, and I did have a little more condensation inside the tent because I didn't have the airflow going up on the inside. So if you know it's not going to rain, keep your poles at 48 inches. If it's going to rain, bring your poles down to 44 inches, and it just closes those air gaps at the bottom. I really like this. It only comes in a little over a pound. I had this thing set up in minutes, tore down in minutes. I really liked it. But I really like my hammock more. I only had 2 nights where I had an actual flat spot to put the tent. The AT is really meant for hammockers. If you're a hammocker, you're going to love the AT. The tent is really meant for people that are going out west where trees are, 5 foot in diameter, 4 foot in diameter, and they're spread 30 feet apart. Or there are no trees at all out west. If you're doing the John Muir Trail, the PCT, you're better off with a tent, and this is the tent that you want. If you're on the East Coast, you want to go with a hammock. So when I go back to do the long trail in a couple of weeks to finish that one up, I'm going to take my hammock. It's just so much easier to stealth camp. You hike till 5, 6 o'clock at night. You just look in the woods for something fairly flat. Even if it's on an angle, it doesn't matter. You just need 2 trees, hang a tree, and you're all set to go. So keep that in mind. Here's my little titanium pot. I'll be really quick with this because I got to reset the camera again. This is a little spoon, titanium spoon. It works just right for my pot. And then my pot set up here. I like my alcohol. And I just made myself a little primer plate. Put a little heat in there. You put 1 ounce in my beer can thing right here. Then you light it, and you put your windscreen around. You fill your pot with the water that you want, and that's it. That's my whole system. Now, what else I also carry in here is I carry 3 ounces. This is like if it were rainy and it's noontime and I just want to have a quick cup of hot chocolate or tea or whatever, I can carry 3 ounces in here. I have my hand sanitizer. Before I do anything, I always wash my hands with the hand sanitizer just so I don't contaminate, because from this, once I put water in here, I'm working with food, so I don't want to have to go into my privy bag all the time, so I carry hand sanitizer right in my pot. It's right here ready to go. I have a Ziploc. I normally take 2. One always fails every trip. I had one fail again on me, so I had a backup. And then all else fails, which I had to use this once because this here got wet in the rain, is my, there we go, is my Flint. This never fails, so I always keep a Flint with me. That sets the alcohol right off, and then I have a little cloth that I usually, after every trip, I just throw it away and I make a new one. This is like one of those chamois. It's a 6x6, but it's just enough to clean the pot and everything. So that's my setup here for the pot, and then the spoon. The spoon works out good. Then you get your windscreen and your cover. And you put this away. Alright, let me reset this. Okay, what else we have in here? Food bag. Oh, jeez. Yeah, this is what I have left. Let me get my scale here. I have problems figuring food. I'm always afraid to run out of food, so I always overdo food. And you never know. I mean, when you're first starting a through hike, you're doing 8-10 miles. After 2 weeks, you're doing 10 to 15. After a month, I was doing 18 to 20 miles. So right there, I've reduced my food by 1/2. Instead of having to have a meal every 10 miles, I only need a day's supply of food for 20 miles. So it depends on where you are in your hiking or your trail conditioning. If you're starting off, you need a little more food because you're going to take shorter miles. As you get into your through hike, you're going to need less food because you're doing more miles in a day. So this food right now, I had to carry around is 7 pounds of added weight that I really didn't need. So keep that in mind when it comes to food. That's a tricky one. That's going to be different from everybody. All right, this is another food bag. This is a bag where I kept my coffees, my vitamins, my extra Papel, my bear bag line, to hang your food at night. What else is in here? My powdered milk, my toothbrush and toothpaste bag, and that came in at another 1 pound 9 ounces. So I had 7, 8. Now I had almost 9 pounds of extra food that I had to carry. So that brought my pack. I thought my pack came in at 36 minus 9 is 27 pounds. So my pack I should have came off the trail at around 27 pounds if I had figured my food right. Oh well. And this is my little bag that goes with my tent. I always carry a little saw with me. This is just the blade to the Gerber hand saw. All it is I just put tape around the end of the blade, and this comes in handy if you need to clear any roots or any branches around your campsite. You can use this. I use this all the time. You don't need the big handle. It just adds weight. Just put a little tape around the end of it here so you don't cut your finger, and you can cut anything to, 2.5 inches you can cut with this here. And I made myself a little sheath here out of a Gorilla duct tape, and that just sits right in there. And then this little thing holds 10 titanium shepherd stakes for my tent and my hammocks, the same bag. These things work great. They're titanium. They do not bend. They're not the cheap aluminum ones. So you want, and I always carry, I only need 8, but I always carry 2 extra. And then this is my ground cloth that I put underneath the tent. And I also use this underneath my hammock if I'm in my hammock. This just goes underneath so I can throw clothes and throw stuff. I can get out of the hammock barefoot, not have to step in mud, dirt, or leaves. And I treat this with Promethean, so if there's any spiders or ticks or anything, as soon as they walk on here, they die. So, when I'm in the tent, I use this underneath my tent to help protect the floor of my tent. And it worked out very, very well. This is by Manta. You can find these online. They make a little one that's 24 by 24. You can put that in front of your tent as a mat instead of going with the foam pad. And this is, I believe this is 40 by 50, which is big enough for my duplex. It comes in about 4 inches on each side on the edges. So you don't, if when it rains, you don't want this collecting water, and then water will come underneath between here and your tent. So this worked out very well. So this is my little setup bag, and I just have a little mesh bag to keep it all together. This is all part of my tenting and hammocking setup right here. This is the shirt that I wear. I wear this all the time around camp. And in the morning when I start off, this is from LL Bean, but you can get them anywhere. It's a hiking shirt. It's got ventilation all around it, but it's a little more substantial. It keeps the chill off of me in the morning, and I like this. If it's really buggy, you can wear this again around camp instead of having your t-shirt on. I always take this. This is a staple that I always take. The other thing I always take is my beanie cap. This is a fleece cap. Winter, fall, all 4 seasons I take this. And in the winter I also take another one too, because I need more warmth in my head. So always take a beanie. I wear that all the time. This is overkill. I kind of save the Ziplocs through my meals, and I don't know if I can weigh this. Yeah, I think I can. Just take one off. I like to reuse these Ziplocs, and again, 7 ounces. I'm carrying 7 ounces of used Ziplocs. I guess I could throw them out. Ziplocs are not that expensive, but you know, save the environment and save a few bucks. So I carry out my Ziplocs as long as the bag is clean. This is my electronics bag. Let's just go right through it. I use my Samsung S7 Edge. That's what I'm filming on now, and that's what I took pictures of a lot of my trips. And then on this trip here, what I had to take, I started off with my 21,000 milliamp Anchor charge cell. This gives me 7 full recharges on my phone. And after the first week in our resupply box, I added the 15,000 milliamp charge by Anchor charge cell, and that got me through. I used 1 full charge on this, so that worked out pretty well. I think I'm probably going to go with another 21 to 28,000 here when I go out west, and I'm also going to carry a small solar panel with me. I did not use this. I thought I was going to use this to hold my phone to do videos while I was walking. Never did. This was a waste. I did use this in the hostel to charge my phone and to charge my my backup charge cells. That's just a little wall outlet with the pigtail here, so that worked out. This is I have the Garmin Felix X. This is the little cradle to recharge that, which I can charge off the Anchor. You got to have that because then your battery will go dead. This is a microphone I've used occasionally when I'm videoing. This microphone hooks right onto the phone, so you get better sound. I usually take that, and then I have spare SD cards, and I have a converter. It plugs into the phone. You put the SD card in this little tiny converter, and I can drag files from my phone onto the SD card. Instead of having a big zip drive, you don't need that. All you need is just a little card. This thing probably comes in at it may not even register. 2 ounces. So that takes it no weight. These are my headphones, which I use occasionally in camp to listen. I probably don't need the case, but I have a case for it. It doesn't weigh that much. So those are my headphones. And this here I never even used. This was the remote that I was going to use for my phone. You hit a button. It works for so I can set my phone up 30 feet away in camera mode, hit the button, and it'll start recording. I didn't even use this once. I've used it around the house, but I didn't even use it on the trail, so that was a waste. So that's my electronics bag. I really don't have that much, and I'll be changing this up a little bit on the next trip. Let me put this away over here. Excuse me. All right. All right. Now we get into these. Here are synthetic winter gloves and plastic liners, rain covers that go over the gloves. I could have used these up on Katahdin, but I forgot them in camp. I'll always take these because you never know when you're going to have a cold front come through, and then I guess I could use my spare pair of socks and just put zip locks over my hands. I guess I could do that. I could save a little weight there, but typically this only weighs 3 ounces. The gloves and the watertight glove mitts that go over the gloves. I got them at Z-Pack. They're rain gloves. So I'll probably always take those, just to be on the safe side. Let me I have another bag here. I gotta loosen that up to get it out. All right, this is my Cedar Summit pillow. The last trip I used the airbag. I didn't like it because you put food, you put your clothes in the bag. It's a hard bag. You couldn't really adjust it. So on this trip, I went back to my Cedar Summit, and this is well worth the 3 ounces that it weighs. When you're reading, you can blow it up hard, and you put it on an edge like this. It keeps your head up so you can read. And then when you're ready to go to sleep, you let a little bit of air out, and you lay it flat, and it's like a real nice soft pillow. Highly recommend a pillow. You'll get better sleep if you have good head support the way you need it at the right height. So this is a must. Always have a good pillow. All right. This is my X-Ped air mattress. This is the new one that they sent me because my original delaminated on the long trail. This is a little heavier than the original. The original came in at 1 pound. This is like 1 pound 5 ounces, but extremely comfortable. And I use this in the hammock too, because it has an R rating of 3.5. So it keeps me a little warm and it's comfortable on the ground. That's always going to go with me. My puffy jacket I use several times around camp at the end of the day. I keep this in a dry bag. This is 900 Goose Down fill from LL Bean. It's got the hood on it too. Always year round, this thing always comes with me. It's super light. Well, I thought it was super light. It's 1 pound. But it's super warm. So this is always going to go with me. I'm never going to change that out. I'm really happy with it. What else we have in here? This is my nighttime clothes. This is my ditty bag for my night. This is what I wear around camp. This is camp / sleeping gear. What I do too is I use Downy fabric softener, little sheets. Put this in your clothes. Also throw it in your sleeping bag when you pack it up in the morning, and it keeps everything nice and fresh, smelling. It takes that funk smell out of your clothes, especially because this is always dry, but you've been hiking all day. Even though you wash up a little bit in the river, you're going to get some of that funk on your sleeping clothes. And by putting these Downy bags in your clothes, when you stuff it in there, when you go to put these on at camp, at the end of the day, it just smells nice and clean. So this is a little trick. I always change these out. Next, I'll throw these away, and in a couple of weeks, I'll throw 3 more in here, and that's what I'll use. So these are my light summer. These are Patagonia thermals. This is my top long sleeve, and then I have my long leggings. And I don't wear underwear with them. I just wear these right over my body. And then I have Don Tough socks, just a different color. And these are what I sleep in at night. These are strictly for camp and sleeping. And then while I'm around camp, I have these super light camp shorts. And also when you're at the hostel, you can walk around with these here shorts while all your other clothes is being washed. These are super light. They only come in at about 5 or 6 ounces, and I use these all the time, especially around camp and then around the hostels or if I'm in town or something. So, and then I have a little bag. A black bag means that's my nighttime gear. So that's all standard. This is my snizzle. At the end of the day, it's by Xped. This is my air mattress snizzle. At the end of the day, you just plug this into the nozzle. You just go, and you squeeze it. Probably 4 of these fills my air mattress. I don't have to sit there. I saw more people at the end of the day, they are exhausted. And they're blowing and blowing and blowing into their air mattress. I haven't done that in years, so I have a snizzle. And now with the new air mattresses, they give you a snizzle blow-up bag, comes with every air mattress. Years ago, they didn't do that. You had to buy this separate. It was 35 bucks. So now I have 2 of these, and they're great stuff sacks, because if they hold air, they're not going to let the water in. So I use my second one as a dry bag for my for inside my pack, and then in my pack, the very bottom is my sleeping bag, and I put my sleeping bag in the spare snizzle just in case I get a hole in that one, but mainly because this bag is so light. And I just squeeze all the air out of it. Once all the air is out of it, I snap this, and the moisture in here stays out of here. And this is what it looks like. This is my 30-degree bag from Underquilts. And I really haven't had any problems. Get down into the high 40s one night, and I was nice and toasty. So this, and then as the season goes on, I'll use my 0-degree bag in here. And then when we go into winter camping, that's a whole different set of gear. So we have minus 20-degree gear, and I don't take all this. So anyway, that's that. So my pack is empty. The only thing left is, let's go over the pack and what's in my 3 compartments here. Let me reset the camera and we'll go from there. Okay, this is just a little, just a little cloth that I use. It's on my shirt. When I'm sweating, you just wipe your forehead. These I got at Z-Pack, I think. You can get them anywhere. They dry super quick, so I have that. I also have a little thermometer right here. It's 80 in the house. Can you believe that? But I'm in New England, so there's no humidity. It's a dry 80, so it feels pretty comfortable. I highly recommend this. It's really nice. Walmart sells them. They're like 15 bucks. They work on a little watch battery. I just cannot see. I just can't imagine hiking without knowing what the temperature is. It really comes in handy. And then on the other side I have my little whistle in case I get hurt or a bear or something. You can blow the whistle to get attention. Okay, I think there's something in here. What did I forget? Oh, and more stuff. Okay. This is my first aid and diddy bag. I have my first aid bag right here. Yeah, it's a little big, but I'm highly allergic to bee stings. So I have a few EpiPens in here. I have some, I have Body Glide in here. I did have a little chafing on my last trip right underneath here, so I carry a little tube of Body Glide. Ointment for cuts. Just a couple of bandages. Mainly it's my Benadryl and medicine and EpiPens that are in here in case I get stung out in the field. And then this is my, I carry IT bands. I thought I was going to need them on this trip, but I seemed to work out whatever issues I was developing. So I usually carry IT bands in here too. So that all goes in there. So that's, the red means, you know, medical or my, you know, my emergency bag. Okay, these are the bottoms of my zip-off pants. All right, those are in there. And then this here, I'm not going to take this again. This was a waste. I thought I was going to be taking showers like I did on the long trail. I ended up just washing up right in the lake. I just dove right in. I will be taking my little soap though. This is my Castile soap. It's a highly concentrated. You just need a little dab with your finger, and it's all you can wash up there. I will probably just take the shower head. I'm not taking the extra bag. I'm not taking all this rope. I'm not taking all this. I'm just going to take these, and I'm not going to take this here. What do they call this thing? You put your Sawyer on here, and then you screw your bottle underneath it, and you just let the gravity take care of it. I thought I was going to do a gravity system, never did, so that's going to stay. So basically, in the future, these are the only two things I'm taking, because this will screw on to my Evernew bag, and this will screw on to my Smart Water bottles, and you just pull it, and you got a shower, you close it, it's off. So these two will come with me. The rest of this stuff is going to stay. It was a waste. It probably doesn't weigh that much, maybe 3, 4 ounces, probably 4 ounces. But I'm not taking that anymore. So we'll put that aside. And I'll put that in there. This is my spare clothes, and it's wet. So I carried all this. I carried all this for nothing. Let's see how much it weighs. I bet you it's around a pound, if not more. 1 pound. So this is not, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm just bringing one set of clothes. I have, oh, yeah, I'm also going to bring a set of socks. So basically, and here's my Downy bag. So basically, I'm going to leave the shirt and the spare underwear home. I'm not taking that with me anymore. And that's going to come in at 12 ounces. So these 12 ounces I'm not taking with me anymore. That's going to be a waste. A savings rather. I will take an extra pair of socks, so you got to have an extra pair of socks. Now, foot powder. Didn't even use it. My feet were wet every day. What's the sense of having foot powder? So this is going to stay. This is another 4 ounces of powder that I'm not going to bring anymore. That was, like I said, that was the way. So now this is empty. All right, let's go into my side pouches here. On each side you have hip belt pouches. One side is basically bug spray, head net. I keep a bar of ibuprofen. I only had to use six tablets so I had to use 3 doses in the 12 days that I was out on the AT. So doing that last section. This I had to just use a couple of times to really weren't that many bugs. This is my clothesline hanger that I used all the time. This is my little Pexel light that I used in my tent. Instead of having the big thing bright, I just use this little one. I have sunblock right here for my nose and ears. Earplugs, you gotta have safety pin, baby safety pins. Whenever I hung my clothes or my spare socks off of here to dry, I would also use a safety pin to lock it onto my pack. I didn't actually put the pin through my pack, I just put it through the clothes itself to lock it onto the bungee or something. So you gotta always have baby pin. And you can use the pin too if you have to pop a blister. This is also a clothesline. I didn't realize I had one in there, so I ended up having to carry two sets of clotheslines. So that's all Tums. I put a few Tums that are ready, accessible, in a little Ziploc, a pill-sized Ziploc. So they're right in here. Sometimes during the day, if I ate the wrong stuff, the pepperoni, I like that pepperoni at lunch. Sometimes that will come back and bother me if I'm doing a lot of exertion, heavy hiking. On the other side, I keep my InReach SOS. I use this at least 3 to 6 times a day. I have 3 buttons pre-programmed. I can send as many messages as I want. The first one says, I'm up, I'm leaving camp, and I'm on the move. The second one says, I'm just checking in, I'm still moving, this is where I am right now, everything's fine. And the third message is, I'm done, I'm off the trail, I'm stopped for the night, and I will notify you when I'm on the move again. So I always send these, and it goes to my wife, or anybody else it may be. I may program in here to send them that message. So I highly recommend this. This is keeps everybody at home, gives them peace of mind, gives me peace of mind. If something happens to me and I'm way out in the boonies, I have an SOS button I can hit right. You unlock it and you hit that SOS button, and I will have help on the way. They know exactly where I am. This is my new Pexel headlamp. This is the one that's 350 lumens. This thing will light up a runway. This thing is super bright. You have low, medium, and high. It doesn't have red, but that's all right because I have red with this little one for around camp. I mainly have this because I need to see. So at night. So this, I really like this. It has the rechargeable USB battery, and I carry a second battery in here. I really like this. This has super light. Highly recommend it. I got it at LL Bean finally. It took almost 6 months to get the thing. They had trouble supplying, keeping the store supplied because it's such a high item. I have a little tiny pocket knife right here, and it has scissors on here. I use this a lot with tape and opening up packages. It's got a knife. What else? It's got tweezers in here. Nice little knife. This only comes in at about 3 or 4, probably 4 ounces here. This is super light. I keep just a little compass, so if I have to go off trail or whatever, and I'll tell you, you don't have to go far off trail and you lose your direction. Usually when I go off trail to do my duties or something, I'll break branches so that I'm going in so I can find my way back out. But I always carry a compass. It's just 1 or 2 ounces. It's just something that I do, and I always keep it in my pocket here where it's on me. This is my spare battery for my headlamp. This is surveyor tape. I've used this several times to mark a spot, to let others know where I am stealth camping, because when you're stealth camping, you don't follow a trail, you just go into the woods. So I'll hang a little something off a tree, and then they know how to find me, or I'll know where to find my campsite. If I'm stealth camping and I'm off doing a day hike somewhere, I can get back to my tent site. And I have a Sharpie right here to write a note. I have also on here Luca tape, and I also have on here some vinyl red tape that I could use also to write a note on and stick it to something like help or there's a snake. you know, 10, 20 feet down the trail. I can always leave a note for people. So that's on here too. And then I also have another knife here to cut cheese, and this is a little bigger blade than this one right here. This is only like a 1 inch, actually yeah, it's a 1 inch blade for cutting line or anything like that. But this here is good for if I want to cook, like I said, cheese, my sausage, pepperoni or whatever. This is super light, 2 ounces. I got it at Abishon Highway. It's like hardware, it was like $10. It's all stainless steel with a plastic cover over the blade. But that's my like cooking. So that's it. That's what's in the other pouch on the other side. Now I also have my Z-Pack chest pouch. That thing is the greatest. I put all my snacks in there. I put my phone in there, which acts as my camera. I put my maps in there, and I can't imagine going hiking without a chest pouch. See, I keep my maps right in here, which I use occasionally. I like my phone because I have the Gut Hook app on there, and so here are my snacks that I use occasionally. Well, these are the snacks that I use on the trail. Another set of headphones. I don't know why I have 2. Maybe I didn't realize I had. Oh, I know why. Because during the day, if I want to listen to the phone, I didn't have to go into my pack to get out my nighttime headphones that I use in the hammock or in the tent. I have these ready to use right here in my pouch. I have a stick pick, which I only used once on this trip, but I'll always take this. It's so light, and it just gives a different dimension when you're taking a video to have it on the end of your trekking pole, and so that worked out pretty well. And then I also have a little tripod that you can take the stick pick off, and you screw the tripod to it. I use this several times to do different shots with me in it. I would set that up and use the timer, and so this worked out good. It's super light. Again, this probably weighs 3 ounces, if that. So these always go right in my pouch because I don't want to have to take off my pack if I'm going to just do a quick photo. So that's what I have in my pack. This is the Z-Pack Arc Haul. I'm having a little issue with the top loaders. I'm finding that they're slipping on me. During the day, after a couple of hours, they're not locking in. So what I did is I just tied a knot here. So now once I have it set to where I need it, it can't slide. But again, there's no adjusting on the fly either, so I have to live with that. But other than that, I like the pack. The pack is, I have all these different bungees that I added to it because I like to keep stuff hanging. I added these bungees that go over the top because I can put my chair, an extra food bag, I can throw my clothes underneath there. So I've added all these bungees. So this particular pack is supposed to come in at 22 ounces. Let's see what it weighs with all my extra goodies on here. With the, well, this here is going to be a little heavy. This is probably 4 ounces right here. Well, let's see what the pack comes in at. 2 pounds. 2 pounds, 4 ounces. Which isn't too bad. I think they have it rated empty without all this extra stuff I've added. I think they have it in at like 1 pound. 1 pound, 6 ounces, so 1.5 pounds, I think is what they're coming in at, 1/8. So I've added a 1/2 pound of bungees and stuff, but I need them. I mean, it just makes me feel more secure when I'm adding tie downs. I could probably take a few bungees off, but I'm just going to leave them. They just come in so handy. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what I have, what I'm switching out in the future, which isn't much except my rain jacket. I'm going with my full rain jacket. I'm not going with the poncho. I'm not going with my big umbrella sun hat. I'm definitely going to cut down on my food a little bit, and I'm getting rid of my second pair of hiking clothes. I'm just going to have 1 pair of hiking clothes, and I just wash them out at night, and if it's cool, if they're not dry in the morning, they're not dry. I put them on, and then I can put my rain jacket on over me, and within 30 minutes my body will dry the shirt that I'm wearing anyway. So I'm switching out my boots back to Keens. That's about it. This is what I'm using, and hopefully you've learned something. Okay, see you on the trail.